everybody. My name is Dawa Tarchin Phillips, and I want to start the talk today by having you ask yourself 3 questions. 1, where are you coming from? 2, where are you going? And 3, how are you going to get there? If you're courageous, ask yourself a 4th question: why are you here at all? That was what I asked myself when I was your age. And it led me to meet a lot of really interesting people, courageous people, intelligent people, caring people, brilliant people, committed people, and perseverant people. And I hope the same thing for you. Today I'm here to talk to you about the mind, and mainly about how mind functions and why that matters, whether you're in technology or any other industry, in fact. Currently in America, we're experiencing an epidemic of stress. And that epidemic of stress has been going on and progressively rising since we've started to measure stress in America, which was in 2005. And about half the people in the country complain about stress levels that are significantly impacting their physical and physiological well-being and health. And last year, in 2013, the American Psychological Association for the first time began measuring stress in teens and adolescents. And the shocking discovery there was that those stress levels, in fact, equal the ones of adults. And so that our young people are exposed to stress levels at the same level as if they were struggling for survival, trying to raise a family, trying to make ends meet, trying to have a healthy, ongoing relationships, etc. So the reason why that matters is because stress is affecting all industries, but it's affecting one industry in particular, and that's education. So when you look at reported stress levels among professionals, the highest reported stress levels that we currently find, we find in K-12 teachers and educators, which is your high school students, high school teachers. And they're even higher than those of doctors and nurses who on a daily basis deal with life or death situation. So that is what our kids spend 4, 6, sometimes 8 hours a day surrounded by. Now, on the one hand, that's understandable because it's a place where there's a lot of change and transformation. But on the other hand, there's something to be aware of, and that is what's called the stress curve. And that has to do... No? That has to do with the fact that as your stress levels rise, you get to a tipping point. And at that tipping point, in fact, productivity goes down, creativity goes down, engagement goes down. And exhaustion occurs, disengagement occurs, and eventually that leads to a breakdown and a complete disinterest in the whole educational process. So that is why this is important, and this is why we have to pay attention to that. It can make you feel as if your mind is full of junk, and there isn't really anywhere that you can release that, or anywhere where you can get rid of that. The important thing to know about that, though, is this is like old school method, if you really try to overcome your stress. The important thing to know that, though, is that we're all in the same boat in that regard. Adults, young people, even children, this is a very shared human experience, and so we're trying to address it. My team and I and many other teams around the country are trying to address that. So let's talk about mindfulness for a moment. There are 3 things that particularly the young people here who came from Roosevelt High, that I really want you to understand. Number 1, you do not control other people, and you cannot control the world. And so whatever energy you put into that is wasted. What you can control, however, is your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own attitudes, your own creativity and imagination, your own words, and your own actions. The important thing, though, about those things is that all of those things happen in the present. Your thoughts happen in the present. Your feelings happen in the present. Your attitudes happen in the present. Your imagination and creativity takes place in the present. Your words take place in the present. Your actions take place in the present. So if you are not present, how much control do you have? 0. If you're not here because you're stuck on some device in your pocket, or you're too worried about the future, or too hung up, or with grasping and fixation about something that happened yesterday or the day before, you lose access to your own power. You lose access to control over your own life, over your own destiny. That is why this is so important, because the present moment, in fact, is what represents the point of power that you have. The more you're present, the more you can access that power. So this is why this is so important to understand. Classically, there are 4 areas of mindfulness, and they all relate to what I just explained. The first area is your body, and this relates to what you say and what you do every day. The second area are your sensations, which is why do you do things? How are you motivated? What are the feelings that drive you every day? The third area is mind, which is your imagination, your creativity, your attitudes, how you think. And the fourth area are your perceptions, how you perceive other people, how you perceive the world around you. So once you begin to pay attention to those areas, you begin to realize that this holds tremendous promise, mainly in terms of the amount of influence you can gain over your own destiny. So if you look at this, this represents research over the last 10 years about mindfulness and the way it's been publicized through the media. So over the last 10 years, research and publications on mindfulness have more than 100-fold multiplied. This is really something that is becoming mainstream because we're beginning to see what that can do for creativity and what that can do for success, particularly in education and in business, in entrepreneurship. The other thing that we've become familiar with is that, in fact, distraction has a price. There's a cost to it. And this is research published in 2012 by Matt Killingsworth and Dan Gilbert that showed that the more distracted you are, the less happy you are. That, in fact, your overall mood and happiness is directly correlated to the level of distraction and mind-wandering that's going on. So you have some control over your own mood by just controlling a little bit the thoughts you're having every day. This is a study that we've done in Santa Barbara that was groundbreaking and was widely picked up by the New York Times and the Huffington Post because it was the first time that we showed a correlation between mindfulness and standardized testing. And so here, with a group of about 30 students, we showed that within 2 weeks of just doing 10 to 15 minutes of mindfulness a day, they were able to improve their GRE scores by 16%, without any particular training on the things that were actually being tested. So one thing that illustrates is that when we test students, we don't get the full picture. We don't really get the full picture of what they know and what they're good at, because we don't see to what degree, in fact, they were dealing with distraction and mind-wandering as they were taking the tests. So this is a really important thing to understand and to look at if we want to get a thorough picture of the quality of understanding and skill of our students. We also recognize that mindfulness increases cognitive capacity like working memory capacity. Why is that important? That has to do with the fact that you can access your resources, whatever you've already learned, whatever you've already understood in real time. Because what good is it if you've learned all these things, but when you're in an actual situation, you can't have access to it. You can't access the knowledge. You can't make use of it. So this is another thing that mindfulness improves, your ability to access what you've already known in the present moment when you actually need it. So mindfulness presents a pretty major key. A key that can unlock a lot of possibilities for you, mainly in terms of cultivating awareness. And awareness brings with it choice. The more awareness you have about where you are and what's around you, the more choices you have. The more choices you have, the more you can direct your life. The awareness also presents openness and receptibility. And so when you're open and receptive, you can receive new knowledge, you can receive new information. Yeah? The knowledge and the information, in fact, itself is not particularly valuable. What's important is to apply that knowledge toward some meaningful aim, and that is the development of skill. And it was really interesting on the panel when they began talking about actually developing skill and the great need for skilled workforce, because there are a lot of people who have knowledge, and that knowledge has not been converted into value because it's not been applied to a meaningful aim. Whatever skills you are developing, even those skills are based on your thoughts, attitudes, feelings, imagination, words, and actions. So whatever skills you're developing them as well in the present moment. So that is, again, for you, the entry point to cultivate those skills and to engage in the development of skills. One of the things that's changing in America is the way that we understand success. When you Google success, the kind of image that you get on the internet is this: a lone man or a lone woman on the top of the mountain with a fist clenched into the sky. Now, we're pretty convinced that that idea of success is done. That is not how success will be defined in this 21st century any longer. This is over. If this is what you're still striving for, good luck. The way that we perceive success and where we think success is going is this. It's a sense of collaboration, connectedness, an understanding of interdependence, and an understanding of collaboration. Part of that has been made possible by what's being discussed here today, which is technology. Technology has made it possible for all of us to be more connected than ever before and to understand the challenges of our day better than ever before and to collaborate in different means better than ever before. So this conference and what you're learning here and why you're learning it is very important to where we're going as a human family. This is a recent discovery. I don't know if you've seen this before, but this is a supercluster called Laniakea, and the little red dot there shows our Milky Way. That is where our Milky Way, which consists of 100 billion planets, is located, of which the Earth is one. So if you're wondering if you're interconnected with something far greater than yourself, it's being proven on a daily basis. It's being expanded. Our horizon is being expanded every day to understand more our place within the whole. So what we want you to understand is that your mind is precious and that you should cultivate that gift on a daily basis and watch it grow, watch it unfold, because it is a diamond in the rough, and the more attention you pay to it, the more awareness you cultivate, the more mindfulness that you apply to the cultivation of your knowledge and skill, the more value you'll be able to bring to the world. And whether your mind is full or you're being mindful, that's up to you. Thank you.